Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. It's March 12th, 2026, and just 6 hours ago, the European Incoherent Scatter Scientific Association, or ESCAT, located in the Arctic Circle's Spitsbergen, made an extraordinary discovery. A phenomenon was logged that has only a 0.004% probability of happening naturally, a breach in the ozone layer. But here's the twist. This was no mere collapse. The ozone layer wasn't just depleted, it was peeled back. Imagine being on the frozen surface of the Arctic Ocean, looking up to see something unimaginable. Above the North Pole, a breach roughly 400 kilometers wide opened up in our atmosphere, stripping away the mesosphere and exposing the lower atmosphere directly to the vacuum of space. At the center of this breach, a massive gravitational anchor located 240 million kilometers away, a celestial object known as 3I Atlas, looms ominously. This isn't just another typical hole created by seasonal drift or chlorofluorocarbons. This is something mechanical, something purposeful. A perfect hole opened directly above us, almost as though it was engineered, not just created by natural forces. This is a situation that should have never occurred, and yet here we are, observing this impossible breach, causing panic among the scientific community. At 8:42 UTC this morning, NASA's Aeronomy of Ice in the Mesosphere, AIM, satellite registered an alarming surge in solar radiation impacting the Arctic surface. This radiation spike shouldn't have been possible unless the protective shield of the atmosphere was physically removed. Within just 11 seconds, radiation levels surged by 0%. To put this into perspective, normally, ozone depletion is a slow, drawn-out chemical process that can take decades, but today's event unfolded faster than you can brew a cup of coffee. The data is clear. Something extraordinary is happening in the sky above us. Telemetry from the ESCAT radar confirmed this breach with an even more unsettling finding. The ionosphere was lifting upwards, defying gravity, as if it were being pulled by an invisible force. And that force, according to the data, is linked directly to the trajectory of 3I Atlas. When scientists analyzed these readings, they were faced with a scenario unlike anything they had ever seen before. The physics involved in peeling back a layer of Earth's atmosphere without disturbing the layers below is so advanced, it's almost unimaginable. Think of using a scalpel to peel the skin off an apple without bruising the fruit. That is the level of precision we're talking about. And yet, here we are, witnessing it firsthand. As if that weren't disturbing enough, things get even stranger. At the exact moment the breach occurred, at 8:42 UTC, 3 independent observatories picked up a frequency shift. The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HARP, in Alaska, the ESCAT radar in Norway, and the Resolute Bay Incoherent Scatter Radar in Canada all detected the same exact signal. It wasn't radio static, and it wasn't cosmic background noise. It was a coherent, repeating pulse, resonating at 7.83 Hz, the exact frequency of the Schumann resonance, the Earth's natural electromagnetic heartbeat. Now, this is where things get mind-boggling. 3I Atlas didn't just break through our atmosphere, it communicated with us. It knocked on our door, using our own frequency, a signal directly linked to the very fabric of Earth itself. This brings us to a question that has been circulating through the scientific community and one that NASA seems hesitant to address publicly. If a celestial object has the power to manipulate our atmosphere with this level of precision, can it really just be a comet? The standard understanding of comets is that they are icy snowballs disintegrating as they pass through space. They don't engage in atmospheric surgery on a planetary scale. So, what exactly are we dealing with here? What if 3I Atlas is something far more advanced than any comet we've ever known? The implications are truly terrifying, and in the next section, I'll delve deeper into what we know about this object and its strange behavior. As scientists scramble to make sense of this phenomenon, the data from December 19, 2025, has added a new layer of intrigue. 3I Atlas was originally discovered by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, ATLAS, in Hawaii. Initially classified as a hyperbolic comet on an exit trajectory from the solar system, it was written off as just another icy visitor passing through, but everything changed on December 19th. That day, the object's behavior took a drastic turn. It no longer acted like a comet. Instead, it acted like a magnet. This shift in behavior has caused alarm among astronomers. No longer a comet simply passing through, 3I Atlas began exhibiting magnetic properties, drawing energy and interacting with Earth's atmosphere in ways we never thought possible. It's almost as if it were purposefully targeting our planet, manipulating forces beyond our understanding. At 8:42 UTC this morning, the breach in the ozone layer above the Arctic Circle is the culmination of a sequence of events that has been unfolding for weeks. To understand why the ozone layer buckled in such an unprecedented way, we need to take a step back and look at the data collected from the ground up. The first anomaly appeared at the EIS Spitsbergen radar station. This facility, designed to track ionospheric changes, registered an impossible signal at precisely 8:42 UTC. The electron density in the D region of the ionosphere, which typically remains stable throughout the day, dropped to near zero instantaneously. It was as if a vacuum cleaner had been switched on directly above the North Pole. This phenomenon was unlike anything ever recorded before. But this wasn't the only strange observation. NASA's TINE satellites, which measure atmospheric temperature and pressure, were passing directly overhead at the same time. The SABRE instrument on board recorded an unprecedented temperature drop of 140 degrees Kelvin in just 3 seconds. To cool such a large volume of gas so quickly would require an energy sink the size of a continent. The fact that this thermal energy seemed to disappear entirely is a mystery that science cannot yet explain. The temperature drop defies the laws of thermodynamics. And then came the third anomaly. The SuperDARN radar network, which monitors high-frequency radio signals across the northern hemisphere, detected a massive coherent plasma flow moving upwards. Under normal conditions, gravity pulls particles down, and solar winds push them downward as well. But at 8:45 UTC, 3 minutes after the initial breach, the radar picked up billions of tons of ionized nitrogen flowing directly out of the atmosphere and into space. And the strange part? This plasma flow was following a magnetic field line that pointed directly at 3I Atlas. What does this all mean? 3 independent sources, NASA's thermal data, ESCOT's density readings, and SuperDARN's plasma tracking all point to the same conclusion. The atmosphere isn't leaking, it's being harvested. Something or someone is systematically extracting material from our atmosphere, and 3I Atlas seems to be at the center of it all. The plot thickens as we move forward. The next section will reveal more startling findings and the possible connection to an entirely new form of energy harvesting. Stay with me as we continue this journey into the unknown. The situation becomes even more disturbing as we examine the data from the European Space Agency's swarm constellation satellites, which are dedicated to measuring Earth's magnetic field. At the exact moment the breach occurred, the local magnetic field strength over the Arctic didn't just fluctuate, it organized. The chaotic background noise of the magnetosphere, aligned into a perfect flux tube, a coherent cylinder of magnetic energy connecting the North Pole directly to 3I Atlas. Imagine this for a moment. A magnetic straw, 240 million kilometers long, extending from Earth's atmosphere to this mysterious object in space. It's as though 3I Atlas is literally sipping energy from the Earth's atmosphere. The data shows that this connection is not a random occurrence, but a well-structured and intentional tether linking our planet to the object in space. Now, let's talk about the ozone layer. We all know the ozone layer sits in the stratosphere, acting as a protective shield that filters harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sunday. It's a fragile, reactive layer of gas, and its sudden vulnerability is both alarming and inexplicable. The Copernicus Sentinel-5P satellite is currently showing a hole in the ozone layer that defies all conventional explanations. Normally, ozone depletion happens due to chemicals like chlorine or bromine reacting with sunlight in polar stratospheric clouds. But this hole is different. It's a perfect circle, with sharp, defined edges that seem to defy the messy, chaotic nature of natural processes. Usually, ozone holes are jagged, irregular, and take months to form. But the hole we're observing now is eerily symmetrical, and its edges are so precise that the Sentinel-5P is detecting a resolution of just 500 meters. It's as if the hole is being artificially cut, and the surrounding atmosphere is not rushing in to fill the void, as it should. Normally, when the ozone layer is damaged, the surrounding gases fill the gap almost instantly, like water filling a hole in a surface. But not this time. This hole remains static, as though an invisible barrier is holding the atmosphere back, maintaining a vacuum above the Arctic Circle. At 9:15 UTC today, the ALMA Observatory in Chile detected another disturbing anomaly. Using radio frequency analysis, the observatory identified distinct molecular signatures within the vacuum above the hole. And this is where things take an even darker turn. They found traces of ionized helium-3. Helium-3 is a rare isotope on Earth, but it's abundant on the Moon and in the solar wind. It's not something you'd expect to find sitting inside a hole in our atmosphere. The fact that we are losing nitrogen and oxygen from the atmosphere, while something else, something extraterrestrial, seems to be entering, is both puzzling and terrifying. The isotopic ratio of the helium inside the breach perfectly matches the spectral signature of 3I Atlas. This is no longer just an atmospheric anomaly. This is a direct exchange between Earth's atmosphere and this unknown object. Something from space is not just passing by, it's interacting with our planet in ways that are fundamentally altering our environment. To further compound the mystery, the IceCube Neutrino Observatory at the South Pole has detected a global resonance. Whatever happened in the Arctic, it triggered a planetary-scale reaction. Earth rang like a bell, vibrating across the globe. The object known as 3I Atlas is not just a visitor, it has established a physical connection with our planet, and the physics governing this connection doesn't appear to follow the natural laws we've always understood. It is as if this object is using Earth as a tool, manipulating forces that we've never seen before. As if all of this weren't enough, let's dive into the truly impossible part, the magnetic field lines and the magnetic reconnection event. Magnetic reconnection is a phenomenon we typically observe on the Sun, where magnetic field lines twist and snap, releasing massive amounts of energy. It's a chaotic, explosive process that happens in Earth's magnetosphere as well when solar winds collide with our planet's magnetic shield. But this isn't happening in the usual chaotic way. What we're witnessing with 3I Atlas is something completely different. The object is performing what can only be described as a surgical magnetic reconnection. At 9:45 UTC, just over an hour after the breach, 5 NASA probes designed to study substorms detected an incredibly unusual event. Normally, when magnetic field lines reconnect, they release a tremendous amount of energy, heating the surrounding plasma to millions of degrees. But inside the breach caused by 3I Atlas, the reconnection event was cold. That's right, cold. The plasma inside the magnetic flux tube actually dropped in temperature. Think of it like snapping a rubber band. Normally, when you snap a rubber band, the energy is released as heat and sound. But imagine if that same rubber band, when snapped, absorbed all of the energy instead. That's what the data is showing. The magnetic reconnection event at the North Pole is functioning as an energy sink, not a source. This breaks one of the fundamental laws of thermodynamics. Energy should increase, heat should be generated. But inside the flux tube connecting Earth to 3I Atlas, the plasma is organizing itself into coherent structures, maintaining an unusual order. This is not just a scientific anomaly, it's a violation of everything we understand about energy systems and thermodynamics. We've never seen anything like this in over 4 million years of geological and atmospheric observation. The lead scientist at the SCAT facility, Dr. Name redacted for privacy, even mentioned in an internal memo that the topology of the field lines suggests artificial manipulation. Nature does not create circuits like this. When a scientist of this caliber uses the word circuit to describe planetary magnetic field lines, we must take it seriously. The situation becomes even more bizarre when we look at the secondary pulse detected by the European Space Agency's Cluster 2 mission on December 21st. This pulse wasn't random noise. It was a series of precise, timed pulses, each one occurring exactly every 23 seconds. Why is this important? Because 23 seconds is the exact rotation period of 3I Atlas itself. It's almost as if the object is locked into Earth's magnetic field, rotating in perfect synchronization with the frequency it is inducing in our ionosphere. This suggests a mechanical linkage, a connection between our planet and this unknown entity. To put it simply, 3I Atlas is not just passing through our solar system, it's syncing with our planet, as if Earth and 3I Atlas are becoming one, bound by an invisible electromagnetic force. This phenomenon is so precise, so structured, that it seems engineered, not natural. And what's even more unsettling is that this connection is growing stronger with each passing moment. As the situation intensifies, we find ourselves facing a truly mind-boggling question. What exactly is 3I Atlas doing to Earth, and why? The data we've been collecting suggests that it's not just manipulating the atmosphere or magnetic fields, it's interacting with our planet on a fundamental, almost planetary scale. The 2-3 second pulse detected in the ionosphere, it's not just a signal, it's a synchronized rhythm, a heartbeat that pulses through Earth's magnetic field like a dynamo. 3I Atlas appears to be using our own planet as a battery, extracting energy from our ionosphere and possibly even from our core. At 10:30 UTC, the swarm satellites dedicated to studying Earth's magnetic field picked up an even more disturbing signal, a tertiary pulse embedded within the 2-3 second pulse. This wasn't just random noise, it was a perfectly timed sequence of pulses, each spaced exactly 23 seconds apart. Why does this matter? Because 23 seconds happens to be the exact rotation period of 3I Atlas. This indicates that the object is locked in sync with Earth's magnetic field, rotating in perfect harmony with the frequency it is inducing in our ionosphere. This synchronization is not a random occurrence. It's a deliberate and highly precise interaction. It's as if 3I Atlas is controlling Earth's magnetic field, in some kind of cosmic ballet. The frequency is so perfectly timed that it suggests a mechanical connection between the two, an interface between the object and our planet. But the implications of this are far more terrifying than just a passive interaction. This is not simply a comet passing by. 3I Atlas is actively using Earth as part of a vast interstellar energy system. We are witnessing a planetary-scale energy exchange and at the same time a disturbing manipulation of Earth's natural processes. The object seems to be drawing energy from Earth's ionosphere in a controlled, structured manner. In essence, we are the power source, and 3I Atlas is harnessing this energy, utilizing it for purposes we can barely comprehend. If this energy extraction continues, the consequences could be far-reaching, affecting everything from global communications to satellite orbits. At 11:42 UTC, something even stranger happened. The EICT radar detected a signal boost, and this time the hexagonal lattice formed above the North Pole began to glow in the ultraviolet spectrum. The glowing pattern matched the 2-3-second pulse from 3I Atlas, but it was amplified by a factor of 10,000. This suggests that 3I Atlas is not just observing Earth, it's manipulating the energy around it, focusing it through a lens created by the stripped ozone layer. This is no longer just a breach in the atmosphere. What we are witnessing is an object that is actively using our atmosphere as a tool, focusing and amplifying electromagnetic energy, creating patterns and signals that point directly at the Earth's core. The implications of this are profound. The energy being focused into the mantle of our planet could alter the very structure of Earth's interior. We are looking at the possibility of triggering tectonic events, volcanic activity, and more. It's as if 3I Atlas is trying to synchronize with Earth's internal generator, attempting to couple its rotation with ours. And just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, the U.S. Geological Survey reported a swarm of deep-focus earthquakes in the Arctic Basin directly beneath the hexagonal grid above the North Pole. This sudden seismic activity is the direct result of the energy being focused into the planet's mantle. The tectonic stresses caused by this energy could have catastrophic consequences, triggering larger earthquakes and volcanic eruptions in the coming days. As we approach the final stage of this revelation, it's clear that the situation is escalating at an alarming rate. The connection between 3I Atlas and Earth is no longer speculative. It is documented, confirmed, and ongoing. The hexagonal lattice above the North Pole is glowing brighter, the 2-3-second pulse is growing stronger, and the magnetic tether connecting Earth to the object is tightening. This is no longer a passing cosmic event. It is a full-scale interaction with Earth's magnetic field and ionosphere at the center of the exchange. The data we have gathered so far is undeniable. The ozone layer has been mechanically separated. A cold magnetic flux tube now connects Earth's atmosphere to 3I Atlas, and the hexagonal lattice of ionized dust is actively emitting energy. The most disturbing part? This is only the beginning. As the magnetic connection strengthens, Earth is being affected in ways we can't fully predict. The planet's energy systems are being manipulated, and if the tether were to break, the consequences could be catastrophic. Imagine the potential devastation if the magnetic flux tube were to snap under the increasing tension. This would release all the stored energy back into the atmosphere, creating an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, unlike anything we've ever seen before. It could disrupt satellite communications, GPS, and radio signals. It could even cause a massive global blackout, plunging Earth into chaos. The electromagnetic energy released would have a profound impact on the planet's infrastructure and we would be completely unprepared for such an event. But the real question remains, why is 3I Atlas focusing all this energy into Earth's core? Why is it targeting our planet's internal structure? The answer to this question could change everything we know about planetary interactions, energy manipulation, and the future of our civilization. As the signal strength doubles and the magnetic tether tightens, we are left with one undeniable truth. 3I Atlas is not just a comet, it is an entity with a purpose, and Earth is its target. Now, I know you might be wondering, what happens next? What can we do about this growing threat? As this situation unfolds, there is no telling how long we have before the next major shift occurs. But one thing is certain, the world is on the brink of a new, unimaginable chapter. If you want to stay updated on this developing story and learn what steps we can take to protect our planet, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. We are witnessing history, and you don't want to miss what happens next.